Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have a new video for you in the new European line to Tier 10, the Progetto 65. As always, we're going to have a look at the tech spec. Progetto 65 just means Project 65, a tank which was started in 1965. We're going to have a look at blitzhanger.com as always. Now, I believe this is an excellent tank. It's the top of a line and it's worth the grind because this is a really good tank to have in your collection and one I've really enjoyed playing. Depending on your game style, I would suggest using Cinnamon Roll because it gives you 314 meters of view range, is one of the best in Blitz. So if you're thinking about scouting or spotting, that view range is really, really good. And the concealment numbers are good on this tank too, so it makes an excellent scout. And the 105mm gun in this is really excellent, but it's really about the gun system, which we've had in the previous two tanks. Same type of system. There's 245mm of pen on APCR, which is your standard round, giving you 1050 plus burst damage. On the heat rounds, which is your Pramo, you have 295 pen, and you 53mm pen on the HE. This tank does not have HESH like the one before it. Now you might expect it to have, but it doesn't. So if you've been enjoying the 105mm of HESH pen, you forget about it in this one. Muzzle velocity is 1000 meters per second, which goes up to 1300 meters per second with supercharge, which is lower than its tier 9 equivalent a little bit. But all the shell types have the same muzzle velocity, which makes it easier to fire and make shell management a lot easier. And that's unlike the tier 9 before, where there's a big discrepancy, if you remember the review from that, between, let's say, HESH and the APCR rounds. So that's something which makes this tank a little bit easier to handle in terms of shell management. Shell reloads 3 seconds, and it auto reloads after you fire the first one. But also, you don't have to reload the whole magazine. If you fire a round, it automatically reloads. And the reload in order is 7.53 seconds for your first round, 6.2 for the second, and 4.88 seconds for the last round. And therefore burst damage is available more often. The tank is really fast. It goes 58 kilometers an hour, and it does 23 in reverse. So it's very agile, very mobile, good for peekaboo. It's agile, as you'll see in the gameplay, but the power to weight ratio is a little bit sluggish, just a little bit, and it's slow from stop start, but it has great concealment numbers, and this really helps with scouting and spotting, as we said earlier. And if you use Cinnamon, max that view range out, it can be a very, very effective scout for your team. We looked at the standard B before this, which is a very effective tank, as is this. However, one of the significant differences is that this tank has a little bit more armour. It also has this spaced armour at the side, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the other thing to note is that this is a very big medium tank, therefore it's a big target. But it's also, when you're circle of death, or if you're face hugging something, you'll notice it's very big. It's actually bigger than some of the tank destroyers or heavy tanks that you'll be, longer than some of the heavy tanks you'll be going up against, which is kind of strange. Unlike the tank before, it has better turret armor, which helps because it has 9 degrees of gun depression, but it has no armor on the back or sides. So you need to be very careful if you're out in the open in this tank with those big HE and HESH monsters at tier 9 and 10. But the spaced armor on the side of this tank helps with that. 9 degrees of gun depression, we said, 20 of elevation. We have a look at it here. So it can get in a lot of shots, a lot of difficult shots other tanks can't. Has 1 degree less than its predecessor. But here we see the spaced armor on the side again. And this is defense against HE, HESH, and heat. Because it won't go through to full effect through the spaced armor. So therefore, you might only you'll get no damage, or you might get just splash damage. So that's effective, but your turret is still vulnerable, and there's a small piece of armor on the main body of the tank above. So a HE round or a HESH round that has high muzzle velocity might be able to hit you from distance. So you don't want to get caught out in the open. So use 2 repair kits in this, because especially your turret and back are very vulnerable. In terms of tactics, I play this as a standard medium tank. Assess, reassess, move, go out, spot up the enemy, scout out bases, stay in cover, and it has this excellent view range and excellent concealment numbers. It would allow you to be a very, very effective scout. Particularly if there's no light tank in your team, you can adopt that light tank role because it's fast, it has the view range, and it has those concealment numbers. And when you get into position, if you spot up the enemy, you can do a lot of damage in 9 seconds, you can unload 1,000 to 200 damage just firing your normal APC rounds. We see here the concealment numbers. We're going to clock it back to if you were up against a heavy tank, and you can see that heavy tank has to come very close to you to see you. So if you're up against a heavy tank, you're going to have a significant advantage in view range. You're going to see him a long time before he sees you, and you can pump 1,000 to 200 to 1,200 of damage into him before he even knows where you are. So this tank is a very, very effective tank on the battlefield if used correctly. And by used correctly, we mean being clever, staying in cover, spotting up the enemy, and then using that gun system to deliver massive amounts of damage. If you do get caught in a brawl, your worst case scenario is you're going to have to wait just 7 seconds to get after you fire off your 3 shells in your magazine. So you're going to be doing 1,500 plus of damage in just over 16 seconds, which is not bad at all. And then you got to wait just under 7 seconds for your next shell to load. So it's a pretty effective brawler. Okay, so I've checked the setup, so I'm going to go to C, and what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to use, when I'm on this side of the map in light or medium tank, I go up onto the side of the mountain at the back of the map to get a full view. Experienced players will do this. If you're not an experienced player or you're new to the game, this is a very effective way of spotting up the enemy coming towards C on this map. So what you do is you come up here, and you go to the right, and in between these two, there's this small little gully here. You can pop up, gives you a little bit of cover, and you can see the entire enemy team if they're there. There's nobody there this time, so I can turn around and I can roll down into C safely because I know there's nobody coming to oppose me, so it's a safe, easy capture on C. By the way, if you haven't done that before, and you are doing it for the first time, you would spot up the enemy and you may be tempted to wait up there to take a shot. Don't. If you do that, you're up on a hill, you're not in cover, and you can get smashed. If there's 3 or 4 of them, they can all put around and you can lose half or 3/4 of your hit points before you're even in the game. So that is for spotting, it is not for sniping. So just be aware of that if you haven't used that technique before. Now I'm going to do, I'm basically doing a medium tank role here. I have spotted and scouted up C, I've captured C, and now I'm going to flank and I'm going to do some damage to the enemy. And this is a bit of a carry from me, and I win this game in a collabing off situation for my team, although it's a very easy collabing off. You'll see why in a second when we get to that stage. Now I could have used HE on him, but I just wanted to make sure in the rounds. So I'm just going to go for normal APC rounds. I'm happy to take the lower rolls because I just wanted to make sure of max pen, especially when I'm moving, because you've got less aim time. I'm going to put some rounds in here now. You can see how effective the gun is. This gun system, if you're firing at less than 300 meters, is very effective. I'm going to clear him off. So there we go, 2 cleared off. So it's a pretty good start and pretty good medium tank play. I have kept all my hit points, I've taken out 2 of the enemy, I've captured a base, and I've flanked. So that's really good. Medium tank play, and what a medium tank should be doing for his team. You can see there, I put in a really nice shot on the FV. I tracked him, spun him, made him miss, and now I have him down to 1 shot. And I'm loaded up, ready to go. I'm going to put in an extra round, a safety round, because I don't want to pop out and miss. Safety round is up, and I take him out. I take 1 for my trouble, unfortunately, but I wanted to clear him off. And I wanted to make sure that shot, because the front of the tank is very well armoured. Now we are down to Klobanov situation. I'm looking for that T-62A. He's a 1 shot, but he's not there. They're going to try to dogpile me, so I'm going to capture this base, and then I'm going to rabbit. See if I can get away. I want to capture this base because I know I need to win on points. So I'm going to club it off on points rather than kills. I'm not stupid, and I'm going to get out of there now. Now they're going to try to dogpile me. They're doing the right thing. They're coming at me in 2 different directions, which is what you should always do, because it means that your player can only bring his gun onto one of you, right? Gun can't point in 2 directions. It's simple, right? track him, get a bounce from him, put one into him. Now I'm just playing for time. I put my armour to the front, playing for time, and there we go. One of the easier Klobanovs I had. Could have easily gone and got myself killed. I just had enough hit points, as you saw, by one hit. And that's why capturing the last base was so important. That pushes over the 1,000 mark. Almost 3.2k damage. Me and the Yagaru, we did a bit of a carry between us. I got the most XP and I got the Klobanov medal. As I said, it was a relatively easy Klobanov medal in that I got on points, not kills. A lot of people forget that you can get a Klobanov medal on points. You don't need to kill the enemy. You need to survive. You need to win the game when you're left 3v1. You don't need to kill everybody. And in Supremacy game, you can do that on points. So again, if you're new to the game, just be aware of that. You don't have to be a hero and go and kill them all. Supremacy games are about points, and points are what win them. So there you go. Now, it's a pretty decent game and pretty good illustration of how well this tank can play and how it can deliver a strong performance and carry a game to a win for your team. This is another battle on Supremacy. This is on Himmelsdorf. I'm the only fast mover on my team, so rather than be stupid and go to A and run into perhaps all 7 of the opposition, I'm going to go to B and see if I can spot and scout. I'm going to capture B. As I said, Supremacy is about capturing bases and about getting points, and all too often players they get carried away in a moment and they forget that. You've probably played Supremacy games where even you might be 2 to 3 tanks up and you lose on points because players chase for kills and they forget to collect points, and you're so concentrating on fighting and getting into brawls and that, and all of a sudden you've just lost. And sometimes it's extremely frustrating if you are 2 to 3 tanks up and you still lose, right? I mean, in the last game we looked at, I'm pretty sure those Reds were pretty annoyed that they lost that game, given that they had a Klobanov situation and they were one shot away from killing me, and lost the game in the end. So, but again, it's about points, right? Games are always about points. Now this FE is pushing on, and this is why I'm going to rabbit, because you do not want to get into a brawl with an FE. This FE has great armor. It also has great traverse, and it's extremely difficult tank to beat in a brawl. So I'm very wary of these tanks if they're coming to brawl with me. I track him again, slow him down. He puts one into the grill, and then I put one right through his drive wheel, track him again, keep him in position. I put another one right into the front of him. Now we have him down. And the grill I originally thought was AFK. I was going to use him as a goat, but actually he came alive just at the right time. I missed this shot. It hits the barrel of the grill, and now I'm trying to save the grill a bit and do my best. I'm going to try to put my armour in front of him here, but he's also trying to survive, so we're kind of getting each other's way a bit of a Keystones cop moment here. Now I'm trying to let him escape, so I'm kind of trying to lock the bat chat in place. I thought if I locked the bat chat in place, the grill might be able to move forward and go behind me, and I was trying to save him, but in the end I couldn't. Did my best, but in a way we kind of got in each other's way a little bit. I guess if he'd had another couple of seconds, he could have. So I locked the bat chat in place. He could have pushed by me, got behind me, and saved himself, because it's always good to have a big gun like that in the game. But it wasn't to be. He might have had some lag as well, that's why he might have been slow to start and slow to move. But nonetheless, I'm thankful he was there, because I would have had a much more difficult situation clearing off that FV before the bat chat game if the grill had helped me out. But as always in every game, you need a little bit of luck, and that's what your teammates are there to help you. Now I know that this Death Star is somewhere around the corner. I give him a one shot for him, so I really don't want to push on and get smashed by him. There he is. He's looking for me, but I'm looking for this guy here. I am going to go for the weaker member of the herd and take him out. Fluffed a shot here. I should have got. I fluffed a shot. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have gone for the turret, which was facing away from me. I don't know why I did that. Get a bounce here, and this is what I mean about the front of the tank. The front armor in this tank is pretty good. You can get some bounces. I have a faster reload than him, and there we go. Take him out, and almost 5k damage, 4.7k damage. So again, very decent performance in this tank. This tank, like the two tanks before it, because of the gun system in it, you can consistently deliver 3-4+ K damage games consistently, because the auto reload on the shells means that you have full magazine available far more often than you do with other types of magazine loaded gun systems, and this allows you to do your maximum burst damage far more often, and that's how you deliver 4.7k games, 3+ K games consistently in these tanks, and this is why I like them so much and why I think they're so effective. So let's have a quick recap. I think it's a very good medium tank and well thought out of by Wargaming, not just this tank but all the tanks in the line, so hats off to Wargaming for this. I've said this before about the other tanks. The actual DPM in this tank can be great because of that gun system. And we've had a look at 2 games there where we delivered a lot of damage. The 105mm gun is really good, and this autoloader system, I just love it. I have to say, I really love it. It's 245mm pen and APCR, 295 on heat, and a 53mm pen with HE. So remember, it doesn't have HESH like the previous tank. Power to weight ratio is average. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not great. Traverse is good, but it's a very decent brawler, as you saw in the games. Handles well. Gets around the map easily, as you saw in those games as well. I would use Cinnamon to max out the view range because it really makes it one of the best in Blitz then, and this really it also helps with reload and with scouting tasks. Gun handling is good. It's okay, and it's not the best. Muzzle velocity is pretty much the same as the previous tank, but it's a little bit lower. There's a strong mantle and it has some frontal armour, so it allows it to bounce some shots, as you saw in the game. And it plays the medium tank well. Roll, arm, assess, reassess, move. But also it's really fast, 58 kilometers an hour, so you can scout spot. If you use Cinnamon provisions, you can also play it as a light tank because it's so fast and it has the view range, especially if there's no light tank on your team. The rate of fire and burst damage is just super, and worst case scenario, you've got just around 7 seconds per reload on your last shell after you've fired 3 shells in the magazine though, so it's pretty impressive stuff, right? So overall, very good medium tank, something new, something great and fun to play from Wargaming. So I would say thank you to Wargaming for that. Not so much for the crates they're giving at the moment, but music is Vivaldi Autumn and Verdi's Requiem, Dies Irae, which means Day of Wrath, and you will create quite a few Days of Wrath if you play the Pogretto 65. Project 65, which indeed is a project which was well worth doing. By the way, that Requiem Dies Irae, if you recognize it, it's because it featured in the Fury Road Mad Max movie. So cheers much, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it useful, and I guess all remains for me to say is pants off.